Hello, it's Dr. Rogini. So today I want to share something very exciting. I'm actually so excited to talk about this because I think this will really help you. This video would really transform your life. You're going to be able to see the step-by-step process, what I did with myself to get where I am right now. Okay, some of you know already I'm a chiropractor. I call myself a spiritual chiropractor, and I'm also a spiritual coach, and I do a lot of feminine workshops. So I've done a lot of work on inner transformation with my clients, not just at the physical level, but at the energetic level. So in the last 15 years, actually more than 15 years, over the 20 years, but in the last 15 years, I have evolved at so many levels, and and I mean it at so many levels is internally, energetically, vibrationally, to the point I've created the life that I really deeply desired. Okay. And what I wanted to kind of break it down so you can actually also create the life that you really, really desire. So I do not come from a rich family. I was not born in a rich family. I come from a middle class family. So I had to work myself up where I am right now in my life. And I'm still growing and I'm still expanding. But what I wanted to share here is that we are all born rich. Okay, we all born wealthy, but the wealthy is not external. It starts with internal. And the reason why I'm using the word rich and wealthy, because I wanted you to understand that everything, your health, your relationship with yourself, your relationship with your spouse, your relationship with your children, everything starts from that rich, prosperous energy. It does not matter where your finances is right now, where your life is right now, but it's the mindset, the energetic mindset, the mental and the physical, in every aspect. You have to shift yourself from within in order to create the life that you desire. Okay. And I had to learn through trial and errors to be able to share that with you so you can also transform. And most of you know I always love sharing information. I love sharing wisdom so you can feel that you're not alone, that you can feel that you're supported, and that's why I'm here. And I'm also created lot like courses online that you can help yourself to transform, which I just started like within the last 2 years, and I will share about that a little bit later too. And my life has just been evolving and transforming, and I know it sounds very, wow, how did you do all this stuff? Like, how is that even possible? And I was at that point too. One time I used to like wonder, how did these people reach to this level? How did they get to this level? How do I get this? Like, I would see certain things in my life around me, and I'm like, how do I improve my relationship? How do I improve my relationship with my children? So I had hired different mentors. I read so many different books. I've worked with Swamis and Yogis to help myself evolve and live my life to the fullest. I've learned to really enjoy life in a whole different level, and I always did enjoy life. I always had this playful side of me, which I don't really show online. So I'm just trying to more get comfortable with my other side, and I hope you will support me with that as well. Because if you look at me, my other side at one point in my life kind of got um, hidden, because what happens is as you evolve, like as you grow as into a human being, you start to hide your playful side, and that's so important to expand your playful side and to really nurture that side of you, because we can become very serious as doctors or high achievers or as parents, as entrepreneurs. So it's important to loosen up in order to be able to live life at the fullest, to able to really taste life at the fullest. Okay, so what I wanted to share is I wanted to kind of give you an idea what I did. I'm just going to give you maybe about 3 tips what I did in order to shift myself. Okay. So most of you probably, I'm not sure, heard of like read one book a day or read one book a week or whatever that information you've learned. Let me tell you, reading and learning and literally finding all these information that's out there, that's amazing. That's really, really, really good. I love that part. But are you really integrating the information that you're getting from online, from books, from teachers and mentors? That's the key. How many of you, just question yourself, how many of you read, like, let's say a chapter book on self-help? You read it through, you're like, yes, I read it. Let me go to the next book. Did you really sit down and ponder on it? Did you do the exercises that they've told you to do? Okay. I know I've done that too. I've done all this, like where you read a book, you're like, oh, I don't want to do the exercise. But that's where the key is. That's where the embodiment is. That's when you start to integrate the energy inside of you. So it's not integration through actions, but integration into the energy first. First, you have to feel it, and then you do the actions. How many of you have done that? So really be honest with yourself. And when you ask these questions, you realize you're skipping the steps. That's why you're not getting where you want to be. So you're skipping the steps that is literally holding you back from evolving. So let me give you an example. When I read a book, I will go back to that book, back and forth, back again. Sometimes a few times I read the book until I really pick up on that information and my cells remember it, until my body starts to believe that's what kind of life I live now. Okay? This is important because you're actually retraining your subconscious mind. You're giving your subconscious new information. So what happens is your nervous system will create a new there's a new pathway that's being created, and that's very important that you create this new pathway, so your body starts to believe that this is the life you're living. Okay, and once you start believing, you start to become magnetic. You start to magnetize the things that you really want in your life. So I've mentioned a book on Yogananda's book, the Autobiography of a Yogi. He talks about being magnetic. So when he means by being magnetic, when you one with source, when you're one with God, you become magnetic because you're releasing resistance in your energetic field. And this is what I teach with my clients. And how did I become this teacher from a chiropractor? Because my chiropractic profession helped me to become this teacher. It started to show me what people are holding on to, all that burden, all that pain, all that insecurity, all that resistance in their field is stopping them from evolving. And I started seeing these patterns in these clients. I started, when I read their history and their energetic body, their posture, I can see why their issues keep repeating in different forms, in different pain. Same person. So that pain will become into a different issue if they don't solve the underlying issue. So I would observe my clients, and that's how I learned that there's this pattern in their body that's stopping them from evolving. But in order to recognize the pattern, you have to be able to be aware of these patterns. How do you get aware of these patterns if no one tells you? Or people do probably tell you, but you can't see it. You probably might be in denial. You don't want to hear it and you walk away. Okay? So how did I open these patterns? I did recognize these patterns. It's through my Kriya Yoga practice, through a lot of meditation, through breath work, inner work. I was able to recognize my own limitations that I was born with from all these limitations. Remember, we learn information from our parents, from our ancestors, from our society. So I was basically holding on all these limitations that did not serve me, that stopped me to get where I need to be. Okay, so this is why all these spiritual teachers, they give you these guidance and teachings for you to be able to recognize your true version. Who are you? Like, let's say I'm Dr. Rogini. Who is Rogini? Who is she? So you have to know who you are. So the only way to recognize who you are is to purify your energy, cleanse the things, the noise and all that stuff out of your system so you can find yourself again. That's the whole point of doing all these yogic practices. You become this powerful version of you that you can be of service to yourself, to society, and to your family as well. And you will live a life that's more joyful and fun instead of holding yourself back. And trust me, I know how that feels, because as a little girl, I was so open. I would like literally nothing will stop me. And then you become a teenager, you know, there's cultural influence, how a girl should behave, how she should talk, how she should be. All these things started to, like, all this weight of the societal pressure closed me off of being of who I am. So I will do the parts of me that I want to shine in private. I wouldn't show in my practice. I wouldn't show online. I'll just hide myself. And that did not serve me because I'm holding my true version of me inside. I'm hiding. So I had to release all these limited patterns or this limited thinking to be able to shine again. Does that make sense? So let's go back to the books. And it's so important to embody. So when you read other people's books, all these amazing stuff, there's a lot of good stuff in there, but you have to know also what you need at the moment, because how do you know what you need right now? Right? Like, if you don't know who you are, how do you know what you need? Right? So you have to do these clearing, cleansing. These are the basic steps to get to the next things, to be able to recognize what do you really need. Does that make sense? Just please leave any suggestions. Like, as I said, I'm getting comfortable with myself to loosen up more and to be able to share the things I really need to share. As I've said in the past videos, I'm holding myself back. And I'm also facing my own inner fears, and to be able to become that full version of me, right? And I want you to understand also, like, because I'm doing this will help you too, also to loosen up as a mother too. Like, you might be a mother or a father and you become so serious as a parent. It's not serving your family, trust me. I know. I have 3 children. I have one is already 17, another one is 14, and the youngest is 10. So I know how it can become so serious that your children will be repelling you. They will no, you don't want to do that. You want to have some plate for sure. Okay. And so the next thing is, so read, so I didn't fully finish there. So read your books and take your time, ponder on it, go back to that book and see if you really embodied it. You may have not. It takes time. It can take months. Sometimes I go back to, sorry, that's my dog. She makes all these funny noises. So next time, when you read a book, right? Like, let's say you finish reading this book and it's 3 years ago. Go back to the book and see, is there something that you probably forgot to do or embody? Because definitely you might not have embodied everything. Or when you go back to that book, you might see it differently. You have a whole different perspective of that book. It might not feel the same way as when you read it 3 years ago. Okay? And when I mean by embodying it, feel it. Feel how it should feel in your body. Feel that prosperity. So if that book is about prosperity, so I'm just gonna give you some books that I've been reading for a while, and then I go back into it. I take a break, I go back into it, expand on it, and then I start to shift there. Like, let's say if I have to add that in my other parts of my life, in my personal life, I'll start to shift and try to change certain patterns, so I make sure that I don't have that lack in there. So I will recognize anywhere in my life where I have lack and start to implement prosperity. So for example, like putting the prosperity idea into work. This is one of the book I would highly recommend if you want to be in one with God, you want to be more in connection with source, which source is really inside of you. Trust me, I know how it feels for those who are Hindus, because we have idol worship. God is right there and you're right here, and it's not like that. At the end, the idol worship should transform. It's within you. You are the goddess. You are that power, but you have to activate that power inside of you. And this is why these worships came, where you have these prayers, you offer flowers to be able to activate that goddess inside of you. I know nobody talks about that all the time. Like nobody, like not all the time, nobody talks about that. I had to figure that out by observing. I'm such an observer, like, you know, I'm always observing. That's how I learn. I look, I observe, and I take what I need. Okay? And when you do that, you're able to clean up your aura and add the things of your own desires and values into your own personal life. So let me go back. This is one of the book I really love. And The Science of Getting Rich. Again, connection with God. You don't have to start, you don't have to be wealthy in order to start with these books. You can start wherever you are. Wherever you are, please don't wait until you're ready. You are ready right now. Trust me, you are ready right now. Don't wait. Okay? And this is another one. You Can Be Prosperous. So these books go hand in hand. Okay, these two go hand in hand. Robert Russell. And the author for this is Valis Waddles. And there's a couple other books that I've had also attached to my description box, in the links in there, so you can also purchase those books. And trust me, like, I'll go back to these books over and over again until I know I'm done with it. That's when I move to the next chapter. That's when I find my next mentor. The universe knows when to provide me the next information. The way I've created my energy is where things find me. I don't look for it. And it's been always like that. I just didn't see it at the time. I was unconscious. Even my profession, my chiropractic profession, I became a chiropractor, and chiropractic found me. I didn't find it. I didn't even know what a chiropractor was at one point until I found it. Like, that found me. Okay? And that's how everything found me. And that's how I did that all the time. As I said, I did it unconsciously, but now I've activated that I don't look for things. It comes to me. But the only way it can come to you, you have to clear your energy from all the clutter and noise. Take a moment, breathe. Really feel who you are. Bring yourself to the present. And the best way to bring yourself to present is through breath work, through deep breathing. And sometimes you have to talk out loud. For me, I feel like I have to talk out loud sometimes when it's too much noise in there. And I bring myself back to presence. Okay? And so I hope I made that first point very clear. If you didn't understand, please, 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 please write it down. If you had similar experience, write it down as well. Share it. The more you share, you are growing as a person, right? You feel comfortable. I know that sometimes people are scared to put their comments in their comment section because other people are reading their messages. But do you know something here? you are breaking yourself from some inner limitations, from being seen. Does that make sense? Okay. Um, Number 2 is don't let anybody tell you what your values are, what you need to do. So, what do I mean by that? As young children, our parents tell us what to do, what's important for us, blah, blah, blah. We know that. But as we grow older, you become you, right? And the reason why other people put their values or suggest their important values to you is because there is a leak in your energy. They don't know. They unconsciously think you need help because you're not aware of who you are. Your self-worth is not there. So they're like, okay, let me suggest her. She probably doesn't know what she needs. And they're doing this all unconsciously. They don't know this all thing. Okay, so what's important for you is, again, back to yourself, find who you are. Sometimes it's very good to say, this is me, this is me, this is me. And you can say it with your names. Tell your name out loud. And this is very important for sensitive and highly sensitive people, or who are empaths or projectors by human design. I'm a projector by human design. So if you don't know what that is, I'll put the link down there. It's if you go there, I can't remember the website, but you can plug in your birth time and all that stuff, and it will tell you how your body energy, the flow of your energy, everything is based on your birth time and date. Okay, don't get too attached to that, but from my side, what I feel like, it's so important to clear the clutter on a regular basis. It's like clearing your garbages. You cannot let the garbage accumulate in your house. You definitely have to empty it, right? So our energy field, especially if you're sensitive, you're like a sponge, you're absorbing the things that's not serving you, and then you have to clear it. But the more you become clear of who you are and become more present with yourself, that gets less and less and less. But if your day is really cluttered, let's say you have so many things going on in your day, that's when you absorb the things that's not serving you. I have learned that. So I have to make time just for myself every day, every single day. I don't work as much as I used to. I stopped doing that. That's a long time ago. I've learned that lesson a long time ago. And this is how you start to become clear of your vision, of your values, of your desires. And that's how you'll be able to attract the things that you need. And you'll be able to recognize what's not for you. So let's say someone's offering you something and you know, this is not for me. But sometimes you're going to watch, because it could be a limited pattern inside of you that stops you from accepting that offer. So you have to ask yourself, is it because I'm stopping that, whatever's coming to me? Is it because of fear or some form of limitation? So you have to ask all these questions before you reject it. Obviously, if you have tons of invitation coming in, that means you're already clear of what you want. So you can say no, 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 yes. Okay? Get a little stuffy here. Okay, so values can be seen in what is your, for example, if you're not married and you're looking for a partner, your value right now at this moment is finding a partner, right? And then getting married, and then your value will change. Maybe I want to have kids, but sometimes you don't want to have kids yet. You want to do other things first. And anything is okay. You just have to know what you want. Okay? And your values will change. They will evolve. They will evolve. Trust me. I remember in 2017, I was called to do online, like a platform for people to come online and learn about to be able to learn about holistic health and all that stuff. And so I kind of recruited with other people, partnered up, I worked with them, and then I realized, no, it's not working. This is not what I want. Because at the time, I had the calling, I had the knowing, but I didn't know what it was. Okay? That's the key, because do not rush. Try not to rush in your life. Okay? Take your time. Yes, you want it fast, but you also need to integrate the information. So in 2017, I thought I'm going to be online with I have my practice, but I wanted to do all this stuff online, but I didn't know what I wanted to do. I just knew about something holistic. I knew I don't want to teach exercise. I didn't want to teach nutrition. I could do all that stuff if I want to, but I didn't want to teach that stuff. I could teach about chiropractic, about the body, all that stuff. I was like, no, that's not it. Then I recruited with another people, and then I was like, no, that's not it. So I had to go through these experiences to find out what I really wanted, and that's okay as well. There were mistakes, and I don't call them mistakes, because that was part of my growth. I needed to experience that. I'm so grateful I met these people, because if I didn't meet these people, I wouldn't be who I am right now. Okay, so through that I realized, so I was actually basically, it comes back to the value, because I didn't know exactly what my value was at the time. So I didn't know how I'm going to share my information. I didn't even know what information I had to share, because I'm so embodied in it. It's so normal to me that what do I have to share? Right? So because I'm doing this every day, I don't even know. So I had to like go backwards and learn who I am, and to be able to dissect, then I can, okay, this is what people are looking for. Let me share this. But it took me time to realize that. I had to see that through watching some other people's videos to click. I was like, oh, this is what my students are looking for. This is what my private clients are looking for. So I started, that's why I started the course online. So I can teach you guys like these pre-recorded videos, and then you can watch these videos and learn, right? So I didn't know this is what I would be doing in 2017. But when I really released these videos, it was last year, right? So it took me about 6 years, right? But that's the whole point of life. It's unfolding. I had to do so many different things in order to get what I'm doing right now. Because if it was 2017, I wouldn't be able to teach what I'm teaching right now. I probably didn't have all the words to be able to share. Does that make sense? So be very patient and nice to yourself. Be very kind to yourself. Really honor of who you are at the time. Like I could have said, oh, I don't know enough. I'm not worthy enough. No, I didn't do that. And it's very common with sensitive people. That worthiness issue is so common. I see this a lot. I see these clients a lot. All they need to do is shift their consciousness, unplug themselves out of this lack into abundance. It's literally like plugging off from like from the outlet and plug into abundance. It can be instant. I've seen instant results. People have done therapies for years, and then they just come to me and they like, oh, this is what I need to do. I didn't realize. Okay? It's basically tapping into your power, which is inside of you. It's inside of you. That's the secret. Okay? So I think I shared enough of information to help you, to transform you, to be able to tell you you're good where you are, and start from there. First, be okay with of who you are. Because when we read all these tons of books, you could create this resistance. That actually, I needed to share this. I forgot about this. So when you learn so many books, you have to be careful with that. This is where the resistance starts to come in. You could be very relaxed. Now you read like 10 books in this month, and all of a sudden you like everything is like tightening up. And you might not even know that you're doing that. Your muscles, your shoulders are tight, your head is tight. I mean, your neck muscles are tight, and all of a sudden you have headaches. You have all these uncomfortable pain in the body. That's pressure building up. That's literally pressure building up because you're trying to complete something very fast. You're trying to rush through the process. No, don't do that, because now you're causing resistance. When you have resistance, you have leakage in your energy. When you have leakage in your energy, you feel like you're not evolving, you're not growing, you're not expanding, you're not going forward. You feel like you're like stuck. You feel numb. You feel weird. You don't feel good. Trust me, it doesn't feel good. So do one thing at a time, embody it. Do not rush, because there's a lot of mentors out there who talk about like, you got to do this fast, you got to, like, what is the whole point of, if you do everything fast, you can't even like taste life, you cannot even enjoy life. Trust me, we came here to taste the flavors of life. If you're not taking your time and process and integrating, you're not moving forward. Your energy is leaking. Trust me. Time to time, I catch myself. I still do this up to now. I catch myself, but I'm aware of it. And you may not be aware of it. If you remember, if you've gone to college or university or even high school, you know how you go from one class to another class and you have only like 5 or 10 minutes to really like go from one course to another course, but you don't even have time to integrate. You don't have time to really process that information. Okay? And then you go home and you forget about what happened. You may have to do other things. And then you like, next day starts and you go back to these classes. And then unless you do your homework, but even the homework is just homework. What I used to do, which was unconsciously, I didn't know that I was doing that at the time. I would go home and really ponder and process all of that. I'll like think, imagine, like, oh, let's say if I study biology, I'll be like, oh, these animals, wow. Like, I'm like so curious. In psychology university, I'll be like, I'll start thinking of like like, I'll just process that information totally different. And people will think I study so hard. I'm like such a hard worker. All I'm doing is integrating and processing. I didn't know I was doing that. So, and it's so important. So when I read a book, like let's say if I read this chapter, I'll be reading it. I'll be like, where am I not doing this? Where am I doing this? Where should I change? What should I change? So integration. And when you integrate, you feel it. Please feel it. Feel it like you have it as it's happening. Those are two different energy. Don't feel it as it has to happen. Feel it as you already have it. So if you want the desired partner, you feel how the partner should feel like. Okay? And everybody has their own way of experiencing that, in terms of like, some people have to write it down, some people have to draw it out, some people have to talk it out. So I find different ways of embodying it. Okay? And so it's important for you to process that information. So I just gave you that school analogy is because we don't have time to integrate the information. That's why most of the information is being lost. You learn all of that stuff. You learn about human behavior. You learn about human evolution, animal behavior, all that information. But are you really processing it? Right? So, just a reminder before I just end this chapter. So remember, I have a course online that can help you to clear your energy field, to cleanse your, purify your system. And also I've added to that you get to have one-on-one session for 1 hour with me. The sale ends on January the 15th. So make sure you purchase this course. It's going to help you so much. The good thing is that I've added that one-on-one session with it. So this way, let's say you need to work on something or you need that embodiment. I've had patients, clients doing just one session with me. Like a whole transformation happens in their life. This includes their family. This includes their personal life and financial life, just with one session. Okay? So imagine after doing this course and you doing that one-on-one session with me, what will change in your life? Are you ready for that? Do you feel like you're called for that? Okay? We do have a whole team. If you feel like you're not ready for my stuff, there's other layers you want to work on, you feel like you need more confidence coaching, we do have a confidence coach. She's a hypnotherapist, but she does it amazingly. And we have an empowerment coach where you feel like you need to still do that before you can work with me. Absolutely, we have a team. I'm going to also add that link and you can go from there. Thank you for watching. I'll see you back on the next video.